Hey guys, how you doing? This is gonna be my first attempt at creating some content for the channel on subjects that we will typically cover every day. So the first one we're gonna talk about is we're gonna talk about prop firms, what a prop firm is, the three steps of the prop firm process, and the different types of paths depending on what your budget is and what your skill set is. Um, so let's get started. A prop firm, short for proprietary trading firm, is a company that gives people a chance to trade in the futures market without using their own money. Instead of opening a margin or brokerage account and risking their own funds, traders can use the firm's capital to trade. This makes it easier for anyone interested in futures trading to get started without the financial risk of losing their personal savings. Okay, so what happens a lot of the times is people, people will discover trading and they'll discover, what the potential is to change their lives, make extra income, things like this. They'll show up in the channel and they're trying to find a way to learn how to get started. Okay, the three things I typically give them is they need to understand what a margin account is, they need to understand what a prop firm is, and they need to completely understand what the futures market is and how it works. Um, so let's move forward here. What is the objective when working with a prop firm? Okay, so the objective is going to be the objective when working with a prop firm is to trade the firm's capital successfully in the futures market to generate profits, which are typically shared between you and the firm. You aim to pass the firm's evaluation process to become a funded trader, then trade responsibly to maximize gains while managing risk, all without risking your own money. So the whole point of a prop firm is to not actually risk your own capital. Okay? If you're new and you don't know what you're doing and you're just trying to get started, the worst thing you can do is load 5, 10, 15, $20,000 up into a margin account in Ninja Trader or Trade Evade or whatever platform you use, and try to try to start executing trades without any experience. That is absolutely the worst thing you can do. The reason why I recommend the prop firm for brand new traders is for the least amount of money you can gain access to the markets and possibly work toward a payout, actually becoming funded and being able to use real funds to trade in the markets. Um, and that's the idea is it's gonna cost money to do anything when you're dealing when you're trying to learn how to do this. But for me, the objective is to try and give you a path that's the least expensive way humanly possible for you to be able to learn and get the education you're looking for. Okay, so now, can you paper trade? Yes, you can set up a Ninja Trader account. You're going to have to pay for data. It's going to be $7 or $8 a month, but you can paper trade. But a lot of people, they just want to get in right away. They want to have a little skin in the game, and they can afford, 50, $100 a month on learning the process and learning um, what it is to trade in the markets. If that's the case, then this is the perfect route for that type of person. So the objective to the prop firm account, any prop firm company, is going to be there's three typical steps. Okay, there's step one, which is the evaluation. Step two is you convert that evaluation into a paid account once you pass. And step three, the prop firm will reach out and offer you to trade in live markets with real cash. This would be them funding you real money in the live markets. Now, step one and step two are paper trading. So you're paying the evaluation, evaluation fee for a chance to earn a paid account where you can be paid out real money. Okay. So let's go through these steps. So, step one, the evaluation is paper trading. So there's the two typical sizes I recommend is if you're going to do micro contract trading, that's the smallest contract for futures. You're gonna want a 50K account. If you're going to trade minis, which you'll see me, that's what I trade, you're going to trade a 250K account. Now, what are the rules on passing the evaluation? Typically, there's only one rule, and that is you need to meet the profit target before the maximum drawdown. Okay. So for a 50K account, you're going to have to make $3,000 in profit before you go backwards 2,500 and you pass. That's pretty much it. They don't care when you trade, how you're trading. You just need to pass the evaluation, and then they're going to allow you to convert that into a paid account. So, what are the costs involved in the evaluation? Um, we'll get into that more at the end, but typically a 50K account is going to be about $50 a month. A 250K account is going to be anywhere from $100 to $150 a month. And you're always going to want to look for discounts, but we're going to get into the actual programs here in a little bit. So, step one, evaluation. You pay for your evaluation. You get you get your you get your brokerage trading platform set up, okay, and you start taking trades. And let's say your very first one, you lay down some good trades. Maybe you get a little lucky, who knows, and you pass. Okay, so what's next? Step two. Step two is a paid or performance account. So this is still paper trading, okay? You're not trading real money, you're paper trading. But the point of the paid or performance account, depending on what the prop firm calls it, the objective of this level is for them to evaluate whether or not you know what the hell you're doing. Okay? And there's going to be more rules on this account because if you follow the rules and you make profit, they will pay you a payout. Okay? So some of the typical rules that you're going to have on a paid or performance account, the first one is the 30% rule. And this one's pretty simple because what they don't want is for you to make one trade with all your contracts, get lucky, and then not really trade again, but just take quick micro trades in and out to count for a trading day. They don't want that. They want people who consistently look for real trades every single day, make a real trade, are able to take profit consistently, and have a real system. So what the 30% rule is 1 day's total. 1 day's total profit cannot be more than 30% of the total when payout request occurs. So let's say you made over 15 trading days or over 30 trading days, you made $10,000. So 1 day's worth of profit can't be more than 3,400. That's all that means. 30%. So, well, actually, it'd be 3,000. 3,000 of 10, or 30% of 10,000 is 3,000. So you need to make sure that your biggest day of profit isn't more than 3,000 if your total balance is 10,000. But as the balance gets bigger, the amount you can make in 1 day without breaking that rule also grows. So as you grow the account, you worry less and less about that number. Now, number of days to complete. Now, this number two, number of trading days to complete. This will differ based on your evaluation, and I'm going to go into more I'm gonna cover that in more detail on the next slide or two. But depending, you need to understand the terms of the evaluation you're paying for. But there'll be a number of days that you need to complete in order to qualify for the payout. The next one is the total amount of profit needed to qualify for the payout. So typically the three big ones: 30% rule,
This
number
is
of
an audio
trading
test of the
days.
DTR News channel.
Sorry about that. Number of trading days, and they're going to have a profit target for you to hit. So they want you to have a buffer so that you have margin to trade with, okay? So on a 50K account, typically that'll be about 3,000. So you're going to have to make 2,500 or 3,000, and then what you make over that is going to be your payout amount. Okay? So typically you can collect maybe a $1,500 payout on a 50K account, 2,000 depending on, depending on the one you purchase. So you're going to have to make the buffer. So let's say the buffer is 3,000 or the buffer is 2,500. So let's say it's 2,500. To make the full payout, you need to make $4,000 within the number of days that you have to complete. And then you have to make sure the 30% rule, you didn't break the 30% rule while you were accomplishing that. That's the goal. So there's going to also be, they're looking for people on this level. They're looking for people that they can put real money behind. They can bring into their stable of traders and they can fund. So they're not going to want to see you trading news, no news trading. They're not going to want to see you trading the open or the close, the MOC, mandatory order close, end of day. And they're going to want to see you closed out and out of the markets by 3:45 Eastern, 4 o'clock the market closes. And there's no full port trading, okay? They don't, what you have to say to yourself is, if I was going to put $25,000-$30,000 and give it to somebody to trade for me, and I'm going to take 10% of whatever they win, are you going to want to watch them full port into news or into the open or gamble on MOC? You're not going to want to see that. So that's, those are some of the rules to performance account, okay? So step 3, live funded cash trading. So this is where the company invites you in to trade with real cash. Usually the split will be 90%, 10%, 90% goes to the trader and they take 10%. They're also going to be, copy trading you at some point also. Rules are the same as paid or performance account, okay? So once you get to this level, this is the objective, okay? The payouts are great, the being able to trade for real money and have your data and all the perks to paying for the evaluation are great. But our objective is not to get a payout. The objective is to be good enough where they say, you know what, I'm willing to put 30, 40, 50,000 down for you to trade in a live cash market situation, and we trust you. That's going to be the ultimate goal. Okay, that's going to be your goal. So that's the end game to prop firm trading, okay? And as you go through this, if you only paid for a couple of evals and you paid to have a couple of accounts flipped over to PAs, you might only have 3, 4, $500 into your trading career by the time you get to this level, if you're using all the knowledge that's around you. Now, but we can get more into that later. So I want to talk a little bit about evaluation types and what the costs are, so that you understand. Now, there's typically going to be two types. Okay, the first one's going to be a low expense upfront to achieve paid performance account. Okay, so this type will have a longer time frame before payouts can be claimed. If the evaluation is less and easier to pass, then the paid account will be a longer process to pay out. So what you have to understand is I'm talking about Lilu here because people if you're brand new and you have no idea what you're doing, the Lilu bundle for like $40 for a 50K account is great value because it gives you 10 chances for $40 to pass and get to the performance account. But because they give you so many chances and they really make it easy and they really make it inexpensive, then it's going to be a little bit longer to get to the paid out, to the payout. There's going to be a longer process in the paid or performance account. It's just the way that it is. But this is good for somebody who has, who's not in a hurry, or somebody who has no idea what they're doing and they're at the beginning of their trading career, and they just want to have a little skin in the game, and they want to feel like they're trading for something without having to load a ton of money into their margin account so that they can participate. um that's who this is for. Now, I use Lilu because I like the low expensive price. I'm here every day anyway, and I'm not in any hurry. Okay. So now, for somebody who has more experience, there's different types of accounts that may be better for you. Now, I'm not, I don't make any money off any of this. I'm just explaining what the best path might be. So, a higher expense, this type of account will have a higher upfront expense for the evaluation step, but the time to pay out will be quicker. This type might be better for someone who's been trading long enough they feel the evaluation can be passed on the first try. Okay. So, how I explain that is with the Lilu bundle, I think it's like after tax and everything, it's like about $40. So $40 Lilu gives you like, and at a 90% ticket. So another thing is you never pay for a you never pay full price for a Lilu or for any prop firm eval. There's always discounts. So you always look for the discount code, okay? And Lilu has been running the 90% off the LB bundle. It gives you 10 eval chances, 10 for like $40. I 28 plus tax, and then there's like a credit card fee or fucking whatever. But anyway, by the time you're done, it's about, and then there's they call them performance edge enhancers, where you can pass in one day for $1, and you can pass, and and there's one for $1 that buys down the cost of the conversion to $119. So for this one here, you could have a 50K account. You're trading up to 80 micros. This would be a micro account. You'll get 10 chances to get to the PA account, and it'll be $119 to convert. So you're looking for about $160, $170 to be in a paid account if you do it on the first run. Okay. So, and then from there, you would trade your performance account, and you'd work toward the payout. But you're looking at a 15-day to 30-day trading period in order to get a payout on this plan. Okay. That's a long time. I know. But if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, then what difference does it make anyway? You know what I mean? You want to be in it for as least amount of money as possible to see if you can even do it. Okay. I like the 250 bundle because it allows me to trade minis. This is about $70, $75 all in. And then you got to flip it over when you pass. on the 90%. So this is the least expensive way for a new person to have some skin in the game. Of course, you can always paper trade. You can paper trade to your blue in the face. But if you want to see what it's like to have a little bit of money exposed to the markets and have something at risk, it can change your, how you do things. So this is a good, um in my opinion, I like this. Your payouts, you're going to have 10 to 30 days, depending on if you take the edge enhancer or what the account is, to get to your first payout. So they make it cheap to get through the paid, but you got to trade some days because they made it cheap. It's just the way it is. Okay. So the 50K, you can claim a $1,500 payout. On the 250K, it's a $2,500 payout. After the first 30 days, unless you take the 15-day edge enhancer, um, you can claim your first payout. And then after that, it's 10 trading days. So you got to get through the first 30 for the first payout, and then after that, it's 10. Okay. Now let's talk about something that's more expensive, but you get a quicker payout. So Top Step, I really like Top Step. The only reason I'm not using Top Step is because they no longer allow NinjaTrader on their platform. So I switched back to Lilu for now. So Top Step, it's you're going to be $50, $49, and you're going to get one try. Okay. Maximum loss limit is 2,000 instead of 2,500, but you still got to make the 3,000. Okay. The 150K, $150, and you got a $4,500 drawdown, where the 250K had a $6,500 drawdown. So this is more expensive. You get one try for $50 instead of 10. Okay, one try. Okay, now if you get through, it's I think it's $150. Yeah, it's $150 activation fee. So it's 50 for one try, then it's 150 to get through. Lilu, you get 10 tries for about $45, $40, and then it's 119 to convert, okay? But on the Lilu, um, you can get your first payout in 5 trading days. Okay? You can get your first payout in 5 trading days. Earn a payout after winning 5 days with profits of one. You have to make $150 a day for 5 days and you can claim a payout. Okay? You get to keep your first 10,000, 90% after that. Lilu's 12.5. Payouts processed daily. Okay. So you have an opportunity to get paid out far quicker on Top Step. But if you can't keep your PA more than a few days or a week, it may not make a difference anyway. So, and if it takes you 5 or 6 tries on an eval to pass, you get what I'm saying? So if you really know what you're doing and you can pass on the first try and get into the PA, this is a good idea. But if you can't, then you want to look at, and you can't, you want to put lower money up front and you're not in a hurry and you want to try and develop your trading strategy and be consistent and build a bigger balance, then Lilu is going to be the way you want to go. I'm sorry, Lilu. The bundle with the code is going to be the way to go. So I just wanted to get the first draft of this explanation down so people understood the differences and what this is. What I'd like you to do is just come right into the stream, ask any questions after watching this. Um, this this is a pretty basic explanation. There are more nuances and things to explain, but if you understand what I just went over, there shouldn't be any miscommunication or misunderstandings on how things work and why one thing is talked about or recommended over another. But anyway, I hope to see you guys in the stream. Thank you very much. Have a good day.